You're listening to the Actors Resource Podcast with Ayelette, a podcast for actors and improvisers with interviews from entertainment industry experts.
Our guest today is Ayelette, who is an actor, voiceover artist, and producer. Previously an attorney and multiple award-winning legal technologist, she is also the founder of Actors Guru, a career management tool for actors. Her first web series, The Couch, which has an innovative make-it-yours structure, got her a spot on the Emmy Awards nominations ballot for Outstanding Actress in a Short Form for her lead performance. She is also in development on her first feature film. An avid supporter of animal welfare, she is on the board of K9 Youth Alliance, an organization that brings together youth from under-resourced communities and shelter dogs. So thank you, Ayelette, for being our guest here.
And thank you, Alice, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Definitely. So first question, I know acting and producing is a second career for you. What got you into entertainment in the first place?
So way back in high school, I did the high school play, but I never thought about acting as a real career. It always seemed like some random pipe dream, right? Far away. And then many years later, I was dancing. I was competitively ballroom dancing, and my ballroom coach suggested that I take an acting class to complement my dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And so a few weeks after that, I signed up for an acting for non-actors class. And this was in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I was immediately hooked and immediately just knew that that was what I was meant to do.
So like at that time when you took your first acting class for non-actors, you were hit like with a bolt of lightning. And that's when you went, bing, this is it.
Completely. That really is exactly what happened. It made me feel so different from how I felt in any of the other career stuff that I had done.
Yeah.
So I know there's this term imposter syndrome, and I had always felt that in other career things that I had done. And I didn't even know it had a name until years later.
Right.
But I'd sort of always felt that even if I was doing well, something didn't feel exactly right.
Yeah.
And truly the moment that I started acting, there was none of that. It was just, oh, this is me here. And this is it. Yeah.
That is so cool. Right now, being that you were nominated for an Emmy, which or on the nomination, on the ballot to be nominated for the Emmys, which is still a huge accomplishment, by the way. Actually, tell us, I know it's a huge accomplishment. Can you explain why even being on the ballot is a huge accomplishment?
Yeah. So for the short form category, which a lot of people don't even know about because it's not televised, and it includes short films and web series, because they get so many submissions, I'm guessing hundreds, maybe thousands, I don't know, for that category, they actually vet the projects that are allowed to even get on the ballot. So of their, hundreds of submissions, only about 30 people will be on the ballot for Outstanding Actress.
Wow.
And so to be sort of chosen to be one of those 30 was, as you say, I mean, I feel really proud of it, honestly. It really was a big deal. And I'm really excited about it.
Right. And being on the ballot, I mean, you're on the ballot with other really name actors, right?
Yeah. And I have to admit, I don't remember everybody else who was on the ballot. This is just in 2019. And I don't remember the other names that were on the ballot. But yes, there were other name actresses, and those are the actresses who did get the actual nominations. Their names that people know. But yeah.
That is so cool. So right now that you've already done that, what is your next dream project, or what is a dream project for you?
So last year, I actually read this book series called The Invisible Library. And
The Invisible Library?
It's called The Invisible Library. It's an amazing series, and everybody should read it.
I know, I can see your excitement. I'm like, oh my God, okay, I think I gotta check it out.
And it has a very similar tone, I'll say, to Harry Potter. In other words, it's a bit of kind of fantasy adventure.
Yeah.
But the protagonist is an adult woman.
Yes.
And so turning that series. The latest book, which is either the 6th or the 7th, literally just came out, and I'm actually reading it right now.
Nice.
But it's such a fun story. It's so well written. It has a sense of humor about itself, but it's really told from this kind of mature adult perspective. And honestly, yeah, producing that and acting in that would be spectacular.
Oh my God, that's so cool. So are you in the works of making that happen?
I would say it's a seed right now.
Nice.
So I have reached out to find out if it's already been optioned,
Okay.
which it is not.
Great.
So it's available, and I'm kind of
Yay.
marinating on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for our audience, just in case, like when you say something's been optioned, could you describe or explain what that means?
Yes. So that's a good question. So if you have either a pre-existing script or a story that, let's say, you want to turn into a script, optioning means that the person who owns the story or the script is giving you exclusive right to make it. Now, usually into an on-camera project, whether it's a series or a film.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those details can be worked out. So maybe you have a right to turn it into a film, but not to an episodic, or, so you can kind of, or you can work out all those details. Mm-hmm. Usually options are for a set period of time, because it doesn't make sense to lock the writer or the owner of the story in forever if it turns out that you as a producer can never get it made, right? Mm-hmm. So usually what happens is you will option, the script or the story for, let's say, 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then if by the end of the 2 years, you're not at a certain stage of production, and that will be in the contract of how far along you would need to be, then the rights revert back to the original owner. So during those 2 years, the owner's not allowed to sell it or option to somebody else. So during those 2 years, you should have peace of mind that you can get it made as the producer. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not also being simultaneously or competitively kind of sold to, or, optioned to somebody else.
Right.
But to give the owner, to be fair to the owner, you have a certain amount of time. And if you, don't get it made or don't have it started to get made by a certain amount of time, they get the rights back so that they can try and sell it to somebody else.
Right. And so, in cases of options in general, would you say it's mostly a contract between the person who wants to produce it and the originator of the story? So usually the author. Is that
so? Generally, yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll say that I happen to be, for instance, I actually hired someone to write a feature script for me a couple of years back, and through that contract, I actually own the rights to that script. The author doesn't. So
because you hired.
Because I hired her to write it. Exactly.
Gotcha.
So because of that, I actually could maybe option it to another producer or something, because I actually own the rights to it, even though I'm not the writer.
Right.
But unless there's a situation, so it's really just whoever owns the rights to it, which is usually the writer, but not always.
Yeah. And I love this attention to detail that you're explaining, because with your legal background, I think it's just really great, because you understand it in a way that is clear, but you also really understand it from the legal aspect as well.
Yeah. And I will say that I did not practice entertainment law, so I have my own entertainment attorney because I don't always know, all the different ways or directions that transactions can go in. So I need guidance on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do at least understand what what the ideas and concepts are.
Yeah. Which I think is great. So, being that you're an actress in our entertainment wonderful industry, but what would be really helpful, I think, is explaining what you struggle with most in this industry, because I think that would be really impactful too for other people to hear your struggles, because then they might have the same.
Yeah. And I like to be as open about this as possible, because I know it means a lot to me if I hear someone else struggling with something that, that I am, and I'm not alone in that. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So I think there's two things. One is, it's not so much of a struggle, but it's sort of an expectation awareness, which is that the career is a marathon and not a sprint.
Yes.
So I think as long, when you're in it, you just sort of have to know that things take a long time. And as long as you know that, you're fine.
Right.
But sometimes expectations, either you have your own expectations, or often you have, friends, families, colleagues from other industries who perceive that things should go more quickly than they really do. And you can feel those pressures. And so really just absorbing the fact this is a marathon and it's going to take however long it takes, I think is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing for me is that I think in other industries, if you've trained, for instance, then after that, the assumption is sort of innocent until proven guilty. In other words, it's sort of assumed that you're skilled and that you're a professional in that area, unless you, mess up, make a mistake,
mm-hmm.
show that you're not competent.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the creative industries, and I think acting maybe the most so, but certainly other things, writing, composing, probably other also,
mm-hmm.
is it's almost like you're not competent until you prove that you are.
Mm.
And so as you're interacting with other people in the industry or networking,
mm-hmm.
if you're a newbie, it's kind of like, prove yourself first, before I'll interact with you or get into some kind of relationship or, professional relationship or transaction with you.
Right.
And I think that can be sort of a struggle because it becomes this circle where you have to create projects to prove yourself, but it's difficult to create projects when you don't have people believing in you yet because you haven't created a project,
right.
that kind of thing.
Right. That catch-22, especially when you're first starting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so those are a couple of real struggles. Have you found any way regarding the catch-22 that can help a person with that? And it's okay if you haven't.
I think, I'll say that sort of what worked for me on the first project was finding people who had complementary goals to mine.
Yes.
So so for instance, I wanted to bring on people who weren't entirely green, right? Who, had been on set, knew how it worked to make a project,
mm-hmm.
but maybe they wanted to develop a skill set that they hadn't specifically developed yet. So maybe it was an actor who wanted to be a director,
mm-hmm.
or, a director who wanted to be a DP, or,
mm-hmm.
Something like that, where
mm-hmm.
they were coming into the project with intelligence and experience and everything,
mm-hmm.
but maybe just not that fine-tuned experience in that particular role.
mm-hmm.
So by making the culture of the project one of experimentation and we're all learning,
uh-huh.
that kind of opened, we were all professional, reliable,
mm-hmm.
Could speak the same language because
right.
we had experience in other roles on set.
Mm-hmm.
But we also were open to something not working and we got to try again.
Right. So going in, so one thing that you did was you created your own content. You created your own project, gathered people together
right.
to collaborate with a similar vision or idea, understanding it's experimental, but knowing that you're working with people who are reputable, in terms of being professional and dependable, good people to work with, right? That kind of idea, so that you can start to develop some credits. Is that correct?
Exactly. No, very well said. That's exactly right. Yes.
Just double check.
Yes.
I reiterate.
Yes. No, but that was perfect. Yeah.
Cool. And just a few more questions before our time is up. What kind of impact do you want to leave on this industry?
So I really have two areas that I feel passionate about. So one is, I'll call it my big why. And a lot of coaches kind of talk about knowing your big why, right?
Right.
In acting or whatever your creative pursuit is. And for me, that is empowering people to go after everything they want in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so as an actor, I want to tell stories that help people feel less alone in their struggles, so they know that they can overcome them and get to the goal that they want to reach. And as a producer, it's making projects that do that.
Yeah, I love that.
So the other half of the equation for me is, as a business owner of Actors Guru,
yes,
I really have this passion for giving people the time and freedom to focus on what they want. And really that is my goal with Actors Guru. It's making the business operations of being an actor easier and simpler, so that you have the time and freedom to go and be an actor.
Yeah. And so that's why you developed Actors Guru, right? As your as one of the businesses that you have in addition.
Exactly. I mean, as an actor, I knew the need for it. I knew the need that I needed this one place to put everything, because everything, all of my information from auditions and relationship follow-up and, all this stuff was spread across so many different applications and, so many different places that whenever I needed something, I couldn't find it. And so I really, it was a tool that I needed and it didn't really exist yet. And so I built it. Yeah,
you made it. So, it's great because it's like, it's a website, and I would like you to talk more about it, but it gathers all this information into one place for actors. Because if you've been listening to this podcast, as an actor, and you know that you're also a business, and part of that is marketing, and part of that marketing requires keeping good notes, so you can follow up with thank you cards or send out marketing materials, and you want to remember who cast you in what to say thank you, or a reminder, right? So can you explain more specifically about Actors Guru in terms of the different tools that you can provide? And then definitely I want you to share your website, and then I think you have a discount too. Is that right?
Yes, okay. Yes, exactly. Yes. So Actors Guru is a one-stop shop career management tool for actors. So what does that mean? It's kind of like a wallet for your career, right? You have all your important, you have your cards and you have your cash and everything in one place. So you know where to go when you need to buy something. So with Actors Guru, it's everything related to your career in one place. So everything related to your auditions. And that includes the actual auditions you went on, photos of what you wore, your self-tape videos, who were the people in the room, who got you the audition, did you coach on the audition? Did you get called back? All of that stuff.
Right. And if you got a call back, you know what to wear for your callback. Yeah, exactly.
And are you regularly getting called in for the same type of role? Or do you notice that whenever you either wear a certain thing or coach with a certain person, that's when you get called back, and when you maybe coach with someone else or whatever, maybe you're not getting called back as much or something like that.
Right.
And then another key piece is what you already described. So all of the relationship building and follow up, you can track, it's all in one place. And then training and everything business related as well. And business is a big umbrella. So for me, business includes everything. It includes networking events. It includes film festivals, because you're also doing networking there. It includes projects that you produce or projects that you've booked. It includes, even having coffee just with someone in the industry and what you learned from them. And, I mean, it's a big umbrella, and it's all of that. And everything is linked together. So when you have a contact in there, for example, you can then link that contact to any other event, to any audition, to any event, workshop, whatever, where you saw them. And so you don't have to re-find their contact information and copy and paste it somewhere else. You don't have to, figure out, where did I park again there? Everything is just linked together, and you go to a person's profile and you see all the events they're linked to. You go to an event, you can see all the people you met at that event. Everything is woven together in a very organic, intuitive way. So you're not re-entering information. You're not having to find something and not know where it is, all of that stuff.
Right. Which is a big headache. And so it also helps save time. But also there was somebody on a Facebook post group, and what they said, because actors, we spend a lot of money on our career. We spend a lot of money either on workshops, if you go to workshops, classes. If you're marketing, do you do drop-offs? Do you do gifts? Do you do postcards? I don't know. There's different things there's so much money we can spend, right? Or classes, different kinds of classes. And this one actor who was so smart, what she said she did was she kept track of where she spent her money, and she saw her returns. So she noticed she went to casting director workshops, but she didn't really get called in from that. But she noticed if she went to this networking group, or if she took this class, those brought her more auditions. So then she could reallocate her money to either, oh, this headshot for photographer gets me called in more. So I'm going to not pay for the casting director workshops because it's not working for me financially. And I'm not going to waste my money there. But where it is working is here. And I'm going to apply
That's
that
so
there.
smart.
I thought that was so smart. So good.
Absolutely. Yes. And as you said, we are a business, and just like a company would market its product in 7 different ways and say, okay, Facebook ads are not getting me any, leads,
Right.
but, putting up flyers in this location is getting me leads. Well, then they're going to stop spending money on Facebook ads, right? And they're going to continue spending money on flyers or whatever it is.
Right.
And so you're absolutely right. As actors, we need to do exactly the same thing. So
I think that's so great. Okay. And we have just a couple more minutes. So real quick, last question. Oh, yes. Please
Let me see
tell us how to get to Actors Guru, as well as the discount code you have for us.
Yes. So quickly. So the website is actorsguru.com, and actors is plural. So actorsguru.com. Very easy.
And can you spell it?
Oh, yes. ACTORS as in Sam, GURU.com.
Perfect. Thank you.
And the discount that I'd love to give your podcast listeners are to get 30% off an annual membership.
Nice.
The code is the word, or everything as one word.
Yes.
I am resourceful. So IMRE, S as in Sam, OURCEF as in Frank, UL. I am resourceful.
All
and if you put
case?
that in, you'll get all. It's actually not case sensitive.
It's not case sensitive. Okay, great.
Yeah, and that'll give you 30% off an annual membership, and you will always get a 2-week free trial. So you have 2 weeks to try it out regardless, and then if you decide to continue, 30% off.
Yeah, I think that's so great and helpful that you offer the 2-week free trial. So do it, 2-week free trial. Okay, real quick, last question. If you could do it real quick, if you want to. What is one thing that you learned that you wished someone had told you that you didn't have to learn the hard way, that somebody could have told you that and it would have saved you so much time or effort or heartache, if you can think of it?
That is such a good question. Stop caring what anybody else thinks. And that goes true both for the career, and you'll have people in your life who are fully supportive, and sometimes people in your life that sort of question it and that kind of thing. And if it's something you want to do, you have to go and do it. But equally in the audition room as an actor, if you go in thinking, I need to be what they're looking for, that's going to hamper you, and that's not what they want to see. They want to see you be yourself, and they want to see your essence come through without worrying about them.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Okay. And how does anybody contact you or follow up with you other than through actorsguru.com? Do you have any social media handles that you want to share?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So my website is my first name, which I know can be hard to spell, but it's AYELETTE.com.
Nice.
And my social media, my Instagram is my full name. So it's at Ayelette Robinson, AYELETTE ROBINSON. And I have Facebook and Twitter too, but you can access that from my website. If you just remember ayelette.com, that'll get you everything.
Awesome. Great. This was wonderful. I just want to say thank you so much. You've been a wonderful guest and you have a wonderful service product available for actors that's really helpful. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much. And this is an awesome podcast too. So thank you for creating it.
Thank you. And thank you for listening to the Actors Resource Podcast with me, Aaliyah Lay. I would love to hear from you, so email me, AliyahKLei@gmail.com, ALYAKLEI@gmail.com.